What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things that we know, that I like, that I dislike about Madden 19 thus far. Now, I did get access to the beta, and I was going to make a video titled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly from the Madden 19 beta, but they asked us politely to not post any footage or even really discuss the beta outside of the feedback forums, which I actually have one of the top feedbacks for franchise mode, and I really think it's a big major issue that they need to fix. But I'm not going to talk about that today. We're going to focus all this on things that have been posted from the official Madden blogs and from the Game Changers. Because I don't want to poke the bear. I mean, I could just say screw it and post beta footage, but you all know how badly I want to become a Game Changer and represent this Madden community, and I'm not going to, poke the bear or anything like that. So what we're going to do is work through the top 5 best and the top 5 worst things that I have seen so far from Madden 19. And we're going to start with the worst, and we're going to try to end it on a lighter note. So for the top 5 worst things, at number 5, we have the scoreboards. Very simple. The scoreboards are exactly the same. They've been exactly the same for the last 2 years. And for a game that is trying to show some importance with the Frostbite engine, show off the power like that of the graphics and try to make it aesthetically pleasing, I find it just kind of weird that they haven't decided just to tweak the scoreboards. It's something that's incredibly simple. If you play on PC, they'll probably be the first thing that they mod is to make like custom like Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night football scoreboards. But it does seem like, a little bit weird that they haven't decided to do that. But they have so much emphasis on, slightly tweaking what they look like on the sidelines or fans in the stands and the field and making the grass textures look real good. How about the thing that's always in your view? Always in your vision while you're playing the game, the score. Just make it a little bit different. It would make the game feel a lot better, and it's kind of an inverse of something that we'll talk about when I run through the things that I really do like so far about Madden 19. But the scoreboards, I mean, it could be a change. Everything that we've seen from EA Play and the beta, it's the same build, so it's not the final release. Maybe they change scoreboards. It could be a simple tweak, but it's looking a little bit unlikely at this point. Go to number 4. It's for the custom draft classes. There's no randomizer. Here's my theory about this. I can't find any way that they wouldn't have tried to put a randomizer in because it makes no sense. Just allowing people like myself that really want to, make their own draft classes. Why should we know every single player? That kind of removes the whole aspect of having a draft, the surprise of getting a stud, the disappointment of drafting a bust. My guess is that the draft class randomizer wasn't ready, it was buggy, it wasn't working properly, so they decided we'll cut it, we'll get rid of it, and we'll just give them the custom draft classes, and it'll be more so for the guys that just want to download other people's work. But I feel like this is something that, like my hypothesis, that it was something that they couldn't get working right. It could be patched in at a later date, but I think a randomizer is huge for the draft class, because I still want my top tier upper echelon talent, the Ed Olivers, the Justin Herberts, the Bryce Lovers of the world, to be represented accurately. But I think once you get to like the 2nd round to even like the 6th round, if I make a guy that's a 77 overall, that's going to be in the 3rd round, I think I'm going to cheese everybody. I know I'm going to draft him. And then because of the randomizer comes into effect, he can make him a 72 overall. Still not a bad player, but not what you expected, not the overpowered player. I think that would add a little bit of surprise to your franchises and ultimately to your draft class. Going to number 3 is that there is no coaching carousel yet. Now, I try to focus my worst and the best on things that are actually in the game, because you could go on and on about features you want to see. But I still think because this has been the top community requested feature for the last like 3 or 4 years. They always say they try to get the top community requests. This year, they did a great job of trying to do that. But I feel like Coaching Carousel has been the #1 requested feature. And we kind of got a little bit of an answer here from a guy on Twitter that works on franchise. He said, essentially, there's no coaching coordinators because they can't get the rights for him. And I understand that, but I still feel like they don't have the right for Bill Belichick and they just put in a random guy. It's more so implement the mechanic. Just make it so every team has offensive and defensive coordinators. You can completely randomize their names, and like anything in this game, we could just edit them. You could just have someone that edits every single coaching offensive and defensive coordinator, and then you make them the real guys. But ultimately, it's just that path, that career path, being able to start as an OC or DC, build up your coaching skill tree throughout various jobs, and then eventually landing a head coaching job. And then if it's not the team, not your dream team, if you will, for me, the Eagles, then I can work at building towards being the Eagles head coach. It's just another journey, and it's something different than when you start your franchise mode being a player, owner, or head coach. It's just, I feel like it's something that massively needs to come in Madden 20, and it's not that big of a deal that we can't have the real coaches on, just generic guys. And I understand Madden probably doesn't like that. They want to have the official licensing and stuff like that, but I don't know, man. I think, Bill, if you want the official licensing and all that stuff, Bill Belichick's still the most famous coach. You don't have the rights to the most famous coach, so it's not that big of a deal. So let's just implement the offensive and defensive coordinators. Go to number 2, the graphics. So far, for me, I'm not a big graphics guy. Ultimately, I always feel like the game's, yeah, it's always going to look somewhat nice. But I don't know, man. The graphics to me don't look as good as last year's Madden. I don't, like I say, it's the final build, so you can't be too overly critical because there's a lot of things like shoulder pads and stuff like that that said they've been fixed, and there's some like small bodies, big bodies. I know like there was a side-by-side comparison of like Cam Newton being as big as Christian McCaffrey for the Carolina Panthers. So it's not the final build, and that things could change drastically here for the graphics, but I don't know, man. For me, I kind of like the look of Madden 18 over Madden 19 from what we've seen so far, which is what this video is based upon. And it's never a good thing to go in the backwards direction on the graphics front, but it's not the final build, so it's too hard to be overly critical. But what I've seen so far, I'm not a huge fan, but I assume this could be something that splits the community. Some people like the lighter. I think it's lighter this year. Last year was darker for just graphics in general, but that's to each their own. And the last one, for worse, is the Connected Franchise Mode AI. Now, this is something just pulling off videos from the Game Changers. There's that RBT rebuild where he essentially just keeps fleecing the other teams, the AI, if you will, the other teams in his franchise mode. He was basically trading garbage backup players for all-stars. And that's kind of, I'm not going to dive in too deep on this one, but from what I've already seen that everyone else has, it appears to me like the AI in Connected Franchise Mode is just as dumb as it was in Madden 18, and that is something that has to be huge, because right now we saw all the love and attention that Connected Franchise Mode got in Madden 19, but all that won't make a single dent if the AI is terrible, if the AI makes bad trades, if the AI doesn't draft correctly, if they make bad free agency signings. It doesn't matter how realistic, how in-depth the franchise mode is for the user. If you're a user and you're trying, like myself for example, I'm playing my franchise mode, I'm editing, I'm spending hours to make a custom draft class so all the real rookies come in. I want to keep my franchise as realistic as possible, but you have the AIs making really, really bad trades off in the background. It's like I'm on this straight path trying to make the best franchise mode I can, and then through no control of myself, the AIs are in the back starting fires. And then it turns into like, oh, now I got to keep putting out fires, and it's ruining my enjoyment of my franchise mode because I have to try to compensate for the AI and what they're doing. So that is, for me, the biggest thing that needs to try to get fixed out. And it's just, you can just assume it all from the trades, man. Those trades are like the tip of the iceberg, and you can only assume that it's only going to get bigger the deeper you go down for all of the things that encompass the AI in Connected Franchise Mode. So that is something that desperately needs to get fixed. So let's end it on a lighter note. Let's look at the top 5 best things that we have seen so far from Madden 19. At number 5, it's the new menus and player cards. Kind of the inverse of the scoreboards, which have been the same. They just, kind of changed up the color, kind of changed up a little bit of what you see in the player cards and the menus. I think it looks nice. It makes it feel like a fresh new game. You've seen in the actual menus, your coach like sitting at a desk, and then you see your players like looking at his cell. I think it was Odell looking at his cell phone. Like, these are the screenshots we've already been provided with. It looks nice, man. It definitely is just a simple aesthetic thing that makes you really feel like you're playing in a brand new game. So full credit to that, and I'm a big fan of the white menus. Number 4 is the draft presentation. They now have a complete revamp from the draft. I think we're getting that inspiration from Mike Young. I talked about a video earlier along that he's going to be the guy that could save franchise mode. I'm excited that he is going to be involved in the future of franchise mode. He's coming over from Longshot, and we saw the difference in the draft where the guy walks out, he'll flex if he has like different dev traits. You see the player card up on stage of the player. I just think it's something that was pretty simple, and hopefully they fixed the scouting and all that stuff. They made it a little bit more a little less predictable, I guess would be the best way to say it. But as far as the visuals of the draft, I'm excited that got a little bit of love, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. I think that the future is limitless for how they want to approach the draft in Connected Franchise Mode. I think Mike Young understands that and is going to be trying to build towards the draft being even and bigger and better and more important, and make it feel that much more special of an experience. Number 3 is the beta. I'm giving them full credit to the beta. Now, I know I'm one of the luckies that did get access to the beta, didn't have to pay, $100 or anything crazy like that. I saw some ridiculous offers when I said I had the beta. I think they could have released it a little better. I think it's one of those things, kind of may take the Call of Duty approach, where if you pre-order the game, you get access to the beta. Because I think a lot of people that do pre-order the game are the people that are diehards of the series, and they'll give Madden the best possible feedback from the game. Right now, it seems like no one really knows the exact criteria of where they set it out. So they could be sending codes to people that don't even play the game anymore, and they might not be able to get the most of feedback that they want to get in this beta stage. But in general, this beta stage is going to eliminate what I hate the most about Madden, amongst other things, and that is, you know, you want to get your Madden game early or whatever. Say it comes out the 2nd, I think. You want to start your franchise mode right away. Maybe your long-time franchise mode right away. But for the last couple Maddens, you haven't been able to do that because you know it's going to be buggy, and you know, even people that work at EA have told us, yeah, you know, maybe you want to wait till the first patch comes out to start your franchise mode. This beta hopefully will kind of eliminate that waiting period, and the game should be pretty close to perfected and good to go as soon as it's released. So I think adding a beta is a big time change here for Madden, and is definitely a step in the right direction for the future of this franchise. Go to number 2. It is going to be the player archetypes. I think that is something that is much improved, much needed to change how you try to build your teams through franchise mode. And I think that, you know, there's different ratings definitely make it so it's a little bit more difficult. And I've been someone that has kind of critiqued Madden a little bit by saying franchise mode is going the way of the casuals. Try to make franchise mode simplified and more easy, where a lot of us want more depth and want more challenges. And I think Archetypes is definitely a step in that direction. But for me, I'm going to highlight the boost. Because when you level up your archetype, you get like +1, +2 to different attributes, you know, speed, route running, jumping, different things like that, which some people are like, that's kind of cool. But for me, that's a big thing that can kind of double up and lessen the sting of no coaching carousel. Because that was a big thing for the coaching carousel, is upping your dev traits, buying special perks within your coach's skill tree to give those boosts to your player. So while we may not have coaching carousel, I think the archetype bonus boosts are kind of, you know, influenced from what we saw for, say, in NCAA's coaching carousel, and I think that that is a really good feature. So if we're not going to have coaching carousel this year, at least we get maybe the biggest aspect of the coaching carousel in the boost that we get from the player archetypes. And number 1 best thing, it was always going to be custom draft classes. It's been something I've been pounding the table for. Coaching carousel and custom draft classes, 1A, 1B for C4's most requested features, and we got the custom draft classes. Now, we already talked about the node randomizer, which kind of hampers it a little bit, not giving it a perfect 10 out of 10 rating from me. But ultimately, custom draft classes are a brilliant thing, and you already know I'm going to make them fire. Some absolute fire custom draft classes for you guys to use and to see, more importantly. And I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. It's been a massive community feature. I just hope it all works good. I'll say right now, I'm not allowed to give any info from the beta, but screw it, here's a little sneak peek. I can't test out the custom draft classes in the beta, and I really wanted to get my hands on them. So that kind of stung a little bit, but as long as it's in the game, it's something that a lot of us want in the franchise community, and I think as a whole it represents this change, the changing in the tide, that franchise mode truly, you know, we kind of critiqued when the Carlos Guerrero interview, where he said, oh yeah, he kind of crapped on the franchise mode community a little bit, maybe he could have used better wording, but he kind of said that we're going to build towards a 50-50 split. Now, this was Rex's game, but we're starting to see this, man, and this is the first year. You just look at the connected franchise mode dev blog. It was massive. It was bigger than every other dev blog. This is only good for the future of Madden. Now with Mike Young at the helm, with Carlos Guerrero now in charge, I think the future of franchise mode is looking good. So there you go, guys. Those are my kind of 10 takeaways from everything we know so far about Madden 19. What do you guys think? You guys, I know there's going to be a lot of people that hate it. There's going to be some of you guys that like it. I'm trying to keep it straight up 100 with you, so let me know. As always, if you're first time stopping by, don't be afraid of that subscribe button. We're getting ready. We're going to get heavy for Madden 19 season, so I hope you guys would like to join me for that ride. And that does it for me here today, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.